look within and face rejection and even be open to being rejected. Oh, there's nothing that will heal you as fast as opening yourself up to being rejected. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but what I'm saying is you just say, you know what? I'm going to allow myself to be pulled by a vision rather than pushed by pain. And if I'm rejected, so be it. In fact, I welcome rejection because when you welcome something, you take the power away. When you're afraid of it, you give it power. When you're afraid of it, you give it power, so you run from it. But when you welcome it, you're standing in your power.
Welcome to peace. Welcome to our community. Be who you are. Let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, and good day to you wherever you are at this very moment in time. Welcome to another episode of Being You, the journey back to yourself. Thank you for taking the time to tune in, to listen, and give yourself permission to be transformed. I am Ade, your beingness artist. I think I'm doing good. This is what is this? 14th week. I think I've got it now. Your beingness artist. Yes, I give myself a pat on the back. You did good. I am your transformational agent. And we are taking a journey together. We're taking a journey back to ourselves. The true self. The authentic self. The self that knows all. The self that is wise. The self that is trusting, the self that is creative. And this self knows what peace is. It is always peaceful and is always nudging us, always nudging our ego self to chill, to relax, to be still. Oh, take a breath. I mean that literally. Take a breath. Allow the words that are flowing through me, that are coming out of my mouth, to inspire the very best in you, whatever the best is for you. This is episode 12, and we are going to talk about the fear of rejection. The fear of rejection. But you know, the fear of rejection is really the fear of living life fully. Living every moment of our lives fully. The fear of rejection causes you to live small. It causes you to live in your comfort zone. And living in your comfort zone, there's nothing wrong with it. If it's working for you, so be it. And you are here to grow. You are here to expand. You are here to love. You are here to teach. You are here to inspire. You are here to live this thing called life fully. You're here to live on the edge. And sometimes you're in that place where you're just scared out of your, you know what. You allow life to scare the mess out of you. But if you spend most of your life, the rest of your life, living in your comfort zone. You're living in your comfort zone with your mess. But when you allow yourself to step out of the comfort zone and allow life to scare the mess out of you, oh, you get flushed out. You get all the BS flushed out of you. And then you take a deep breath and go, I feel lighter. We've had moments. I know you've had moments like that. I have. When just like, wow, who knew? I will allow you to paint your own picture. Okay? Where you just like, you feel so light, so relaxed that you want to go lay down. You feel like you gave birth. But when we live in our comfort zone, when we're afraid of being rejected, when we're not living life fully, we're just constipated. We're constipated. We are constipated with stories of the past. We're constipated with stories that no longer serve us. We're constipated with stories that keep us playing small, keep us stagnant, and we don't even know why we're not happy. Or we can't identify why we're unhappy. It's like, I don't know. I got a good job. It's not my purpose, but it pays me well. I can pay my bills. I have a husband who loves me. I have a wife who loves me. I have a boyfriend, whatever. I have a good life. I have friends. But you can have the material things. You can have the relationships. But if your relationship with yourself is not authentic, if you're afraid of being in the quiet, if you're afraid of being still, if you're afraid of going inside of yourself and looking at the stories, the beliefs that you have about yourself, if you're not able to do that, no amount of friendship, money, material wealth can change you. It's true, it's cliche, but change begins from within. Change comes from within. If you don't know peace within, you can experience peace with your interactions with other people, but moments when you don't have the distractions of other people, where you don't have the affirmation, the confirmation of the things, moments when it's just you being with you. Can you experience the same peace? Would you be in a relationship with your own self, a romantic relationship? For those of you who are looking to be in a romantic relationship, when you are looking for somebody to love you unconditionally, do you really know what that means? And if you do, are you loving yourself unconditionally? Because when you are loving yourself unconditionally, you're not really concerned with other people loving you unconditionally. See, that's the trick of love. It doesn't matter to you, because if you find yourself where you're not being loved unconditionally, or you're not being loved, period, or you're mistreated, you're abused, you're taken for granted, you're devalued, because you love yourself unconditionally, you will correct it. You might have to remove yourself from that environment. You make a different choice. And also, because you're in that space of loving yourself unconditionally, you're going to have different experiences anyway, where people might be telling others, oh no, don't go over to her with some foolishness, because she will, what is that phrase? She will set you straight. Sometimes setting straight is what people need. And the setting straight could be just you saying what works for you and what doesn't. You can speak your own truth. How does all of this tie into fear of life or fear of rejection? Well, all of us can look back, can review our life, right? And go back and see a time when we were rejected. And oftentimes, as adults, the things that we deal with, the challenges that we have, what wants to be healed, is all about our experience during childhood. The very first time you were rejected as a child, you may even be one. You may be younger than that, because everything is energy. So even if as a child, as a baby, as an infant, you couldn't say the words or you didn't understand the words, one thing you understood then and still do is energy. And for example, you can walk into a grocery store, go to a mall, and somebody walks by you and you just, or talk to you, and there's this feeling of, I don't know. Sometimes we say, "Ooh, that person's creepy." We don't even know anything about them. Sometimes you might even say, "Well, I shouldn't think like that. That's negative." They could actually be creepy, or maybe they had some energy. They had some thoughts that they're holding that is rooted in low vibrational thoughts. That's how I want to put it, rather than negative. Maybe they're dealing with something really heavy. When you're dealing with something heavy, your thoughts are very low. It's like, I can't live by myself. This life is difficult. Or somebody I love died. Why is this happening to me? I am so angry at God. We may not know the details, but we can feel their vibration. Because we're vibrational beings. That's why you can watch somebody on a TV going through a challenging time, or maybe because of a storm or hurricane. They lost everything and they're crying, and somehow you feel yourself empathizing with them. and if you're like me, you might find yourself tearing up at a commercial. Sometimes I see a commercial, they just do it so well and it's sad, and I'm welling up. I'm like, what is going on? It's a flipping commercial. But there's something in us that, it's like the mind, the energy, the connection, the frequency, the vibration recognizes that. And the people who produced the commercial, they know what they were doing. Anyway, I digress. But as an infant, as a baby, as a child, there are things that happen to you that you are unconscious of. And there's some things that happen that you're conscious of. And until you're willing to face it, until you're willing to tell the truth about it, and whatever the truth is for you is you telling the truth about what it is, rather than being positive. Well, that was back in the past. I'm not going to hold them responsible. That's true. But in order to make that leap into a place where you leave the past, you can't really leave the past in the past. The past is inside of you. It reminds me of a quote, which I will have to pull up. But the past is inside of you. Your life is made up of your past. And when you can tell the truth about your past, you're not afraid. It influences you rather than hold you back. The past is with you. Embrace it. Learn from it. Claudia Rankine said, "You can't put the past behind you. It's buried in you. It's turned your flesh into its own cupboard." And she goes on to say, "Not everything remembered is useful, but it all comes from the world to be stored in you." You can't put the past behind you. It is buried in you. It has turned your flesh into its own cupboard. So if you run from it, it haunts you. If you face it, it delivers a message. So we go through life trying to protect ourselves from being rejected again. We'll protect ourselves from having experiences that reminds us of what happened in the past. And we can't live fully because we're living small. When we live small, we can't trust life. When we're living small, we can't trust love. As much as we say, yeah, love is a healer, if we don't do the inner work, we become afraid of love. Because we know innately love is going to come in and flush out any and everything unlike that love, that energy of love, that vibration of love. If we surrender to love, when we surrender to love, we are going to have to let go. Letting go is part of the surrendering. And sometimes we're afraid of who we're going to be if we let go of thoughts and beliefs and behaviors, whether we like them or not, that we're used to. So when we live life being afraid of love, a new experience, we can't really grow. It's hard to grow and really enjoy life and live every moment. Have you ever been rejected? Of course you have. If you can find somebody who's never been rejected, then send them my way. And it doesn't even count if they say, well, I don't call it rejection. I call it learning from life. Well, in order to change it, reframe it, you obviously associated with it. We've all been rejected. And we try to cope with rejection by trying to find memes and videos and being a perfectionist and just pulling on stuff, books and podcasts, and to hopefully, if we learn more about this positive statements, learn more about affirmations, tools and techniques and tips to change our lives, then we will never be rejected again, be rejected ever again, or we won't feel pain. We won't be hurt. Well, maybe, but I doubt it. You know, the reasons why memes and all the powerful quotes that we see on social media, the reason why they speak to us is because something is in us that resonates with it. It's like, yeah, I know that to be true. And you may find yourself liking something, loving a quote, loving a message on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. But your life at that moment, your experience in that moment doesn't even match what you loved. It's almost like something that gives you hope. And because it gives you hope, you hold on to it. And hope is good. Hope is a nice bridge to get you from where you are and to help you have more courage in getting to the other side. But if you're willing to look within and face rejection and even be open to being rejected, there's nothing that will heal you as fast as opening yourself up to being rejected. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but what I'm saying is you just say, you know what? I'm going to allow myself to be pulled by a vision rather than pushed by pain. And if I'm rejected, so be it. In fact, I welcome rejection because when you welcome something, you take the power away. When you're afraid of it, you give it power. When you're afraid of it, you give it power, so you run from it. But when you welcome it, you're standing in your power. So if you want to heal the fear of rejection, change your mind and welcome rejection, because you're going to learn something from it. You will be more creative. You'll be more at peace. You will find that you're even more loving to yourself. You allow yourself to have more experiences, different experiences. And that's reminding me of something that's actually happening today. I got a call from a friend. And she said she didn't necessarily call it a networking event, but that's the impression that I got. And it's happening today. She wanted me to know about it if I wanted to come. Now, I would tell you in a heartbeat, I hate going to networking events. I don't like them. They don't excite me. And I've had other people join with me and say, me too, I don't like networking events. And I've heard people say, well, they met somebody at a network event and they connected to somebody. And then, before you know it, everything is history. And now here I am. I have my business. I have an investor and blah, blah, blah. But the truth for me is what I realized. And the call actually came after I've been playing around, vibing with this thing about rejection. But this morning I was at a different place with it. And so when the call came, it was almost like it was a test. And I said, yeah, I'll be there. What time is it? And what I realized, what I learned from my willingness, even before the call, my willingness to confront, to be with rejection was, well, in this case anyway, about networking events. The network events are just networking events. They're neutral. But my hating networking event or not liking it or is because I was afraid of being rejected. Because the idea of, what do you do? This is what I do. I work for a Fortune 500 company. Oh, big deal. And, for me, just this idea of people boasting. Now, I've experienced people like that, but not that much. And I don't really go to a lot of networking events to really have track records of that's the only thing that happens there. But times that I've gone and that happened, it made me feel insecure that myself as a spiritual teacher, as a life coach, a radio host will not be honored, maybe looked down upon. So for me, I didn't want to put myself in being uncomfortable. Looked as being less than, because everybody's, regional manager of whatever the company is. I'm not even going to name names, but you can fill in the blanks. No names are coming on my episodes or my podcast unless they're sponsoring the podcast. Or let's just say, well, I'll name this name because I love this brand. Own Network. If I meet somebody who tells me that they're the producer of Super Soul Sunday, or the producer on Yanda Fix My Life, or the head of whatever department at the Own Network, oh my God. Yeah, that will inspire a little bit envy, I guess. I would like to do what they're doing. But the enviness, yeah, we make up words. It's not rooted in much other than my idea of thinking their job is better than mine. Ooh, I'm having an aha moment. For me to be afraid of being looked down at or feeling like people are not going to value what I do is because I have valued what they say they're doing as a CEO of a company, a regional manager, or whatever, someone who gets to travel first class all the time. I have accepted, I have told myself what they do is more valuable than what I'm doing, than my work as a coach, as a spiritual teacher, as a radio host, and other things that I do, interplay as a drummer. Wow, that kind of snuck up on me. When we put more value into what other people do compared to what we do and who we are, then of course we're going to sell ourselves short. And any environment that is going to turn the volume up into that kind of experience, it's like, no, I don't like it. So when we're afraid of being rejected, now yours may not be networking event. For you might be somebody who loves networking events. So you say, well, I can't relate. But there is something there is something that we all deal with, that we are going through. And if we're willing to face it, if we're willing to look at it, we can grow through it. We can grow with it. We don't just only go with the flow, we grow with the flow. You know, one of my a way of being, let me say that, one of the way of being that I align myself with is the idea of being a perfectionist. And perfectionism kills creativity. Perfectionism gets in the way of good enough. Perfectionism in my life has caused me to write different articles, to start a book or almost finish a book, record something and not publish it because I think it's not enough. I have to work a little bit more. I'm working on an ebook now that I've been working on. I've been working on that book for years. But after my government retreat, or because of my government retreat, I actually was going to finish it last year. And I was invited to a government retreat last year, October, which I didn't know I had an invite for. But I was told, oh, yes. And for those of you who don't know, I was detained by the immigration in America. Of course, that changed a lot of things. It changed a lot of things. It changed my life. It changed how I see the world. And it changes how I approach life now. But as I break away and confront the things that I have made to be the boogeyman that's coming after me, I'm beginning to see the error of my own thinking, the illusions, things that I give them power that really have no power over me. And I was taking a course about digital products and digital products. One of the things they talked about in the training, it's about creating ebooks. And I was like, yeah, there's so many things I can talk about, so many topics, but I don't know if I have enough to talk about, really. Well, I guess I can look into something. Maybe I'll do an ebook, maybe about 20 pages. And I was just taking myself through changes. And then one day it occurred to me. It's like, wait a minute. I have an ebook that I've been working on, that I've invested a lot of time in. But it just occurred to me that I already have it. I've spent money paying an editor. And I just had to laugh. Because I'd actually forgotten about it. It was in the back of the back of the back of my mind. It was way back. And part of it was because, I don't know if I have anything new to say or if can I say things differently. Just the things that we do that we know it. We can gather around the table and talk about the things we do, but where's that going to get us? Let's talk more about how we confront the fear. How we're confronting our fears. How we're breaking away from the BS, from the bullshit, from the stories. We are enough. We are enough right now. Right now, you are enough. Right now. Right now, you're worthy. Even if you're messing up and you're fucking up, you are enough. You are worthy and you are valuable. And take my words for it. Convince yourself if you need to. And carry yourself believing that. Even if your ego mind says, yeah, right. You keep doing it. You keep living it. You keep practicing it. How do you do that? When you wake up tomorrow morning and you feel like crap. And you remember this conversation. And you say, yeah, it felt good to say I was worthy yesterday. It felt good to say I'm valuable. It felt good to say I am enough, but I don't feel that crap right now. I don't feel like that right now. Maybe that's just not for me. No, you ask yourself in that moment, if I really know that I am worthy, if I really know that I am enough, if I know that I am valuable, how would I live? Who would I be? What would I do? I don't know. I'll feel different. How would I feel? I'll feel happy. Well, choose to feel happy. Decide to be happy. Look for things that make you happy. Think thoughts that make you happy. Act as if you're happy. Commit to being happy. We keep practicing a new way of being until we develop a muscle memory. If your bank account is $10,000 overdrawn, £10,000 overdrawn, and you're currently living from paycheck to paycheck, but you have a commitment to clearing your debt, right? But you don't even make enough money to pay your bills. But somehow you decide to put £10 every week, $10 every week, every 2 weeks, whatever the currency of your country is, you know. You decide to put something in there on a weekly basis, every 2 weeks, once a month. When you first make the deposit, you're not going to see a dent. You're still going to be £9,985 in the red. Is it red when you're overdrawn? I think it's red. Yes, it is in the red. But if you keep adding more money into that account and keep adding and keep adding, and then one day you pay it off. So the payoff for exercising your spiritual muscle, that you are enough, that you're valuable, will pay off eventually. You just keep adding more truth to who you are. You just keep adding a little bit more truth and a little bit more truth and a little bit more truth until it becomes a way of life. If the fear is asking somebody out, taking somebody out for a dinner, well, imagine, what's the worst thing that can happen? They'll say no, and you'll be like, oh, damn, I knew I shouldn't have done that. But you know, once they say no or say, well, I don't really like you like that, yeah, for maybe about a month or so, it may be challenging. But if you have committed to facing rejection, embracing rejection, after a while, you can let it go. But if you keep trying, if you keep stopping yourself from doing the things that you really want to do, sometimes you don't even know why, but you stop yourself because you're afraid of being rejected, you'll live the rest of your life. You will live longer fearing rejection, not living life fully, and not even knowing if the person likes you or not. Don't let your life be a life of regret. You can change that. It's risky, but with every risk, there's a reward. With every risk, there's a reward. And if you don't gain the thing, if you don't achieve the thing, the person, what you do, the reward becomes, you learn more about yourself and you gain yourself. You get to affirm yourself. Take the risk. Embrace life. Let life break you open. Life will grow you. Her mission is to grow you. Life will sustain you. Life will break you open. And as you surrender to life, she will heal you. She will heal every part of you if you keep staying open and expanding and growing. She's committed to breaking you open because she wants to heal you. She wants to love you. And life is for you, never against you. When you go for what you want, when you go after what you want, when you listen to your heart's desires, when you say yes to life, when you really understand the statement, pain pushes until vision pulls. Living every moment, living life to the fullest becomes a natural way of being. And you may be tempted to say, I should have done this a long time ago. But you know what? Life will give you all the times that you've wasted. So start now. Start today. Start today. Start now. Be you. Take that journey back to yourself. It is the most important business of your life, the business of being you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for allowing yourself to be transformed. It is time to release this episode. The fear of rejection. So move from being afraid of rejection to embracing rejection. When you move from being afraid of rejection to embracing rejection, rejection will be afraid of you. When you move from being afraid of rejection and looking for rejection, rejection will run like, no. I can't go to her. I can't go to him. He ain't even afraid of me. No, I'm scared. Look for opportunities to be rejected. And after a while, you will discover that you are just making yourself available to grow, to learn. Thank you again for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast. Take care of your business. Mind your own business. Tune in, listen, and be transformed. Check out my website, lifecoachade.com. I love you. I bless you. I appreciate you. And I thank God for you. And enjoy our theme song by John Stringer. You are welcome here. Peace and blessings.
There is a space in my heart where I find the truth. I find me in you, a truth beyond what you may see now. But when we are one, we bring more good about. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah. There is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love. Welcome to peace.